this is the spreadsheet we constructed. We saw how you could take your number of hours, you can get the spreadsheet to add it all up for you. Okay? And then you can work out, based on however much you're earning per hour, how much you're going to end with at the end of the week. So that's kind of cool. And our extension from that was this. We're looking at interest, okay? And we saw how you could build this guy, this awkward looking thing, right? Which some of you missed it. That is the compound interest formula. You might recognize it, right? Let me write it out again. This is our compound interest formula, and you can almost recognize the pieces, right? This blue one, that's the principal. 1 plus, there's the interest rate. It's written as a decimal because you got 3.64%, I think is what we looked up from CBA. And then this green thing, what's the green thing represent?
Time.
That's the time, right? Yeah, good. The power is how we have that hat, right? That symbol says to the power of, and A3 is, well, that's the time, okay? So you can recognize that. That's what we looked at yesterday, okay? Now, this scenario was all about getting money and then seeing how it would grow, okay? Over time, if you just sat in a bank account and didn't do anything, okay? I want to extend that idea and look at a bit of the negative side of what happens when you have money and lots of it, okay? So come back to this spreadsheet, this sheet here. And this is 1 week, right? But I would assume you work more than 1 week a year, okay? So underneath here, let's put in here weeks worked, okay? So, how many weeks are there in a year?
52.
There are 52, okay? Now, probably an equally reasonable assumption is that you don't work all of those weeks, okay? Does anyone know, what's the entitlement for, if you're a full-time worker, what's the entitlement for annual leave? Does anyone know? How much time are you allowed to take off? Like, say, to go on a holiday or like be sick, all that kind of stuff.
Like a month?
It's about a month. It's 4 weeks. That's the Australian allocation for annual leave. Okay. You might want to actually note that down, because if you think about it, right, this is a very, very small amount of time, which is why if you know anyone, if you've got siblings or anything like that who start full-time work, it's traumatic going to this, right, Nathan?
Isn't it in America like 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think it's not much in the award. How many weeks of holidays do you have now? How many weeks of holidays? I think it's 12 because you've got your 52 weeks in a year, and then you subtract 4 terms that are 10 weeks each, right? Approximately. So you minus 40, that's 12 weeks, okay? So that's 3 times as much holidays you're going to get as a full-time worker. You think that's all right? Who's got siblings in uni? Anyone? Yeah? How many weeks of holiday do they have? Do you know? Do you know?
Oh, yes.
They get a lot. You're still sitting around doing nothing. Right now, I'll tell you how to calculate it. There are 52 weeks in a year, right? And you should subtract, well, we have 4 terms of 10 weeks, right? Anyone know, in uni you don't get terms, you get semesters, right? There are 2 of them. How many weeks in a semester, usually? Does anyone know? 8. It's not quite as luxurious as that. It's 13, okay? So that means 2 semesters is 26 weeks of university classes, which means how many weeks, if that's class, how many weeks of holidays do you get? 26. So you thought you had it good. No wonder your uni attending siblings look like they're sitting around doing nothing, though hopefully they're actually going to do some work, okay? So anyhow, let's just go into this scenario. So this is your full-time worker, full-time, okay? So instead of 52 weeks, I'm going to put in 48. I think that's pretty normal. Yeah.
So does that mean they can get 4 weeks of the whole year?
Yes, 4 weeks off for the whole year, okay? Now, I'll admit that doesn't include sick leave, but that's like, you can't just take off sick leave, you have to be actually sick. So if you want to go on a holiday, you want to take a trip, or you just want to stop working for a little while, yeah, that's all you get. Though, for what it's worth, you can accrue that. So you can wait like 3 years and you can have 12 weeks backed up.
You could do like leave without pay, or you could do like, what's it called? You get paid leave.
So there's annual leave, there's sick, there's leave without pay, there's long service leave, if you've been working at a place for like 10 years, okay? But anyhow, you get the picture, generally. Yeah, last question.
School teachers get the same amount of holidays.
Okay, so school teachers, we have this, but actually we're employed during your school holidays, which is why I do a crap load of work when you guys are on break. So, kind of, but not really. What are you looking for? Okay, Amy, Jacob, you guys want to go to the side right now? Alright, leave your stuff here. Quickly, so you can come back sooner. So Tom, just on your question, you know how summer holidays is basically like 5-6 weeks? 5-6 weeks? So the Department of Education, the government, this is a side note, they assume we get the same 4 weeks as everyone else, and they lump it all into summer, right? So those 2 week breaks, 2 week breaks, 2 weeks breaks, I'm still just as employed as I normally am. So, and I am, like I work pretty much the same amount of holidays. So, yeah, well, that's, yeah, maybe he should be. Anyhow, okay. So I'm gonna come back here, I'm gonna change this to 48, okay? So now if that's the amount of weeks we work, and total pay up here, that's how much you're earning per week, right? Then if I want to work out your total income, how am I going to work that out?
48 times.
Okay, so I'm going to take that number, right, whatever number is in there, and I'm going to, so how did I multiply again?
You have to use the asterisk.
Yes, very good.
I don't know
Well
what's-
done. It would have been easier if you were paying attention the first time. Okay, multiplication times how much you're actually earning per week. Okay, so far so good. Now, what's happened? Do you remember what this means?
It means that it's not big enough.
Good, very good. Okay, so I'll just double tap up here. And there's the amount of money I earn. That's not bad. Then again, we did work a lot for it, okay?